What's up, railroaders? Inside of this box, there are literally so many trains that the box is almost breaking open. So before the box totally explodes on us, we should open this up and see what model trains are in here that are gonna go to my model train store. All the information to that is on screen right now. In the meantime, let's crack this thing open. All right, if you're a fan of Cabooses or Lionel, you're in luck because inside of this box, we have like, I think 20 Lionel Cabooses from all eras of the company. All kinds of railroads, all kinds of paint schemes, scale, tin plate, everything you could imagine in the Lionel Caboose market is inside of this box for us to take a look at. So let's get right to our first item here. And it is a really nice condition, actually. Very nice condition. 027 Union Pacific center couple of Caboose. I believe this is probably from a starter set of some sort. I always thought the Lionel 027 stuff was really cute. I never minded that it doesn't look totally realistic or, you know, isn't the most detailed thing ever. I think it's actually very nice, and it's how so many of us got into this great hobby. So always happy to have some Lionel 027 swag in the store. And that's just one of like 24 almost Cabooses inside of this box. So we've got lots of surprises in store for us. Next up, we'll unwrap this bundle of joy here. After this string of just totally failed pickups of lots that would arrive totally damaged, I'm very, very happy that this seller has taken the time to wrap it up really nicely for us. So very, very happy about that. All right, and first up out of this bundle is a Virginia and Truckee 2-rail car, actually, by Atlas, I think made this, or maybe AHM. But this is a 2-rail O-scale car, something I really don't delve into much, but not a bad piece. I think these were kits, or at least AHM made a bunch of 2-rail kits back in the day. But that's a pretty nice little car there. Virginia and Truckee is a cool railroad, so very happy to have that. And it's very rare that I get bobber Cabooses in the store, so that's also pretty unique. But let's keep going in here and see what else is bundled up with all these Cabooses. All right, next up is a tin plate Lionel Caboose. I've had a few of these come through. I always loved these. I think they're just the perfect classic Lionel Caboose look. Love the tin plate, love that it's a Pennsylvania Railroad car. And I'm very, very thrilled to have yet another one coming through my store. Up next is another 027 starter set one. This one is kind of popping apart just a little bit. This came with a promotional set that was made from Mopar back in probably the late 90s or early 2000s. Actually, definitely the late 90s if it's built in 94. But I never loved these promo sets. I mean, this really would look a little bit weird on a layout, but you know, that's okay. So cool to have something related to a Chrysler dealership though, or a Chrysler parts source rather. Up next is something we've been looking at a little bit recently on this channel, an American Flyer car, one of the classic red center couple of Cabooses from their line with those older style couplers. Still not entirely sure what the difference between the two couplers is, you know, regarding era or preference of American Flyer collectors, but glad to have another Flyer piece in the store. I've had lots of folks requesting Flyer stuff, and I really haven't had much of it before this last couple of weeks, so I'm really, really excited about that. Here's an ancient tin plate car. I think, I was gonna say it's a standard gauge, but I think this is actually O gauge, but it's kind of got that standard gauge size to it. But this just looks absolutely classic. What a gorgeous piece of rolling stock this is, guys. And it's even got the original truck instructions, you know, or lubrication instructions rather, on the bottom there, which is super, super cool to see. I love that these old school tin plate cars even had like roller bearing caps on them like the real thing do. So I think that's pretty awesome. And I believe we've got another similar piece right here. Yep, another tin plate Caboose. Same story as the last one, O gauge, but it's almost sized up to be standard gauge. It's got that really old school Lionel tin plate coupler type on there. So that is really, really neat. And the last thing in this bundle is another bobber Caboose. This is a Kickapoo Valley and Northern car. I'm assuming that's some kind of obscure tourist railroad or something, or maybe this came with like maybe that was actually like a children's set that they did. Either way, it's got some screws in there to make it heavier because these bobber Cabooses love to fly off the track because they're super, super light, especially those really cheap Lionel 027 ones. So that's great that somebody put some extra weight in there. That'll probably make that a much better running car. But we've got another bundle here. Let's go ahead and see what's inside this guy. All right, here is a K-Line car. K-Line is a very 50-50 company for me. I either love or kind of hate their stuff. I mean, this is a, you know, pretty standard sort of starter 027 car. I think the Lionel tackled the 027 range and the starter set range a lot better. This is super, super budget. I mean, the handrails on this are like as basic as you can get. They're pretty much just almost like a Lego fence piece, it looks like, but you know, that's not horrible. This truck on the bottom here is super tight though, so we're gonna have to unscrew that truck just a little bit to make it run properly. But K-Line's an interesting one to me. They're one of those companies that they either have really, really great products or stuff that just kind of misses the mark for me. Here is one that does not miss the mark for me, a nice 027 Lionel caboose for Wisconsin Central. Such an obscure railroad, but yet Lionel made a starter set centered around them, which I think is very, very cool. And I love that I finally get to have this this piece here. I love the Wisconsin Central Railroad. I think it's a really, really cool one. And again, the fact that Lionel based a whole starter set off of them is pretty miraculous to me, but you know, definitely not going to complain. I love when Lionel or you know, the other brands add some diversity to the starter sets instead of doing the same old Santa Fe and Union Pacific stuff. Next up's another one of those tin plate Pennsylvania cabooses. This one's got the older style trucks and the older style couplers, which makes me think it's probably pre-war, as opposed to the other one that I think came out just after the Second World War, or maybe even during it. That's a cool one too. Haven't had the brown color of this come through yet, so that's something new for the store. Always happy to have something different. Here is some sort of abomination. This is a, you know, dare I say custom. I feel like custom might not be the right word for it though, because it literally is just a post-war caboose that somebody spray painted silver. I mean, if that's something you want to do, it's you know, it's all you, man, go for it. But I'm not really sure what the idea here was. Coupler is also like glued together with like foam insulation, you know, a little bit of confusion going on there, but that's interesting. If somebody needs a silver caboose, you know, I am your guy, hit me up. Yeah, not really sure what that's all about. Here's something cool. This is an MPC caboose, one of the classic round window, porthole window variations. So this is a very nice Canadian national car. Love the look on this. One of my favorite of the Lionel caboose molds, especially for 027. They always killed these porthole window cabooses, and that thing just looks great. Bet it lights up too. Super, super cool. And down here, we have another American Flyer car. This one, as we mentioned earlier, has the newer kind of knuckle coupler on it, which I think looks quite a lot better and probably performs better too, if I had to guess. But this thing's got a light in it, it looks like, and that's a really nice little American Flyer piece. So certainly happy to have that as well. All right, and inside of our last bundle here, our first item will be a car that I had a long, long time ago when I was a kid that I definitely practiced plenty of weathering on. This has actually been sort of customized. They put like a post-war truck on here, or yeah, it looks like a post-war truck from like a scout set or something. That's really, really weird, but kind of makes it unique, I guess. They also used that same Gorilla Glue or whatever on the railings. So this will definitely be a pretty cheap car given the condition, but one of the MPC Rio Grande cabooses. I believe my grandma picked that up for me at a thrift shop we used to have in Virginia that had that. Here is, wow, another Wisconsin Central caboose. I'm actually stunned. I didn't even know there was one of these in there, so I'm very glad that there's two. Not else really to be said about that I didn't say about the first one, but again, pretty cool to have, you know, such an obscure car and have two of them. This last bundle is certainly becoming my favorite, because here's another really cool one. This is an MPC caboose for the Penn Central Railroad. Love kind of the stealth look on this. Very, very discreet, as opposed to the red, you know, bright neon cabooses that Lionel starter sets are so good at doing. Yeah, I'm definitely really enjoying this this last one. Here's a Williams caboose for the Milwaukee Road Railroad. This is a really, really nice car. Got some great weight to it. Williams makes some great stuff. This thing's a unit. Yeah, this feels awesome. All metal, except for the shell. Yeah, that's a total stunner. That's probably my favorite thing in this whole lot, to be honest. Maybe up there with those Wisconsin Central ones. And to end it off, here is another Kickapoo Valley bobber caboose. This one has not had the weight put in it, so it literally weighs like the lightest I've ever heard of any freight car. That is super, super light. Never been a big fan of these super El Cheapo, like basic bobber cabooses. They just are so, so light. I mean, they barely stay on the track. And last but not least, here's another MPC one. Yet again, a Penn Central caboose. Someone has gone and put some custom trucks on this, which actually probably helps the performance of it a little bit. But that's a really neat one. Another Penn Central one, this time in the much brighter Penn Central green. But guys, I've really enjoyed looking through these cabooses. If you like what you saw, it'll be in my model train store. I'd love to see you there. But in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.